Hello, and welcome to episode 148 of Checkpoint Chat. My name is Alessandro Barbosa. I'm joined by a Gauteng returned Matthew Figuera.
I'm home, and if you're looking at the video feed, let me tell you, my hands are so cold.
Are they cold? Yeah, welcome to the real cold.
But you know what? It's not even a winter thing. My hands just generally get cold, and in winter it is the worst. But I'm home, so I've got a sleeping cat in my lap. Very, very thrilled, Lupin. It's been Cape Town's been good, but it's nice to be home.
I'm sure the cats missed you loads.
I think they did. We often got photos from my in-laws where they were just like spooning each other on the couch. It was like, yeah.
I thought they weren't like the biggest friends.
That's why it's funny though, because when it's cold, they're like, I have no choice. It's like, I hate you, but you're warm. Let's do this.
Exactly. It's a survival. It's a survival reflex. Yeah.
But I'm all set up, and I was telling you before we started recording, my one PC fan's doing that nice, which is just
fun.
I'm like, how does this happen? You put a PC in a car for one 14-15 hour trip, and it's like, I'm gonna just give you shit now.
All those vibrations on the trip.
Cool, nice.
I mean, sometimes you don't even move your PC, and then you wake up and the SSD is just imploded on itself. So
just on a
computers, not even once.
You know what? Forget computers, okay? I can deal with noisy fans. You know, it's my pet peeve. There's plugs, because, you know,
what do you mean plugs? Like noisy plugs?
No, actually plugging stuff into wall sockets or multi-plugs.
Yeah.
Because obviously I moved my setup there and I moved it back. And setting up there was a lot easier because I didn't care. It's like I'm there for a month. I'm not too fussed about cable management, whatever. So coming home, I'm like, okay, I'm here permanently again now. I've got to do this neatly. Let me just plug all the shit in. And, you know, I've got a plug that's just difficult to plug shit in. And, you know, you get those times where you like, do I just need to like force it in? So you push hard and
do I just need to kick it?
And then you're like, no, maybe, you know, it's not about that. Sometimes you just have to like maneuver it. So you go gently and it doesn't go in. Then you get angry because it's not going in. You push hard. And then like, you just on a whim, just do it and it goes in. I'm like, why didn't you just do that first time? And this happened to me yesterday for like 4 plugs. I'm like, why are you like this?
And then on top of it, it's like, I mean, that's just one aspect. Then it's like you said, the cable management, like you're here permanently, so I want to make sure my workspace is neat, type of thing. Yeah.
Let me tell you, I'm an easygoing person, but I always joke with Lenska. I say I don't have anxiety or anything, but let me tell you, cable management, that makes me anxious. I hate it so much.
Same.
So much. Like, and I've done an okay job, but you know what? If I ever have to pack up this PC again, you best believe that some cables are going to have knots at themselves, despite me being neat, not moving them.
I hate it as well. I mean, I built a desk primarily with cable management in mind, and even then, it's still like, I look at the bottom of my desk and there's still like 1 or 2 cables that can't go through the place I want them to, and it drives me absolutely fucking nuts. And then the other day as well, I had to go house sit for my parents, and I was like, I looked at my stuff, I was like, oh, mistakes were made, because I like put down these cables as if I'm never going to have to move them, but now I have to move them.
Oh no.
I hate it. Yeah, I hate it. So, but when you get it right, it is one of the most cathartic things. Like I enjoy doing it just because I know the end result's going to be good. You know what I mean?
I think the problem is that I never get it 100%. About halfway through, like I'll do it neatly.
Oh, you just give up?
No, I don't give up. But about halfway through, I'm like, I don't actually know what's the optimal way. Like, what should I have plugged in first? Because eventually it's like a massive cable. So I'm like, it kind of looks better than it did before. So
you see what I did for my lounge? I like just got these. I got these little things that you can stick onto like I stuck them onto the back of my like cabinet, and they create loops for cable ties. So I basically plug everything in and then like start thinking about like a route to go, and then I just bunch them up and cable tie them. So now if I look behind, it just looks like one really thick bunch of cables, but at least they're all going in the same direction.
I should do that. Well, at the very least, this is probably the best I've had my setup. It looks so neat.
It looks clean. Yeah, your desk
Yeah.
looked nice and clean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always. I mean, having a clean desk is to me it really drives me mad when my desk isn't clean, especially when I'm trying to work. So
Yeah.
it helps the productivity, I feel like.
Yeah. Don't look behind my desk though, because there are just cables.
Luckily, I can't see behind you.
You can't,
strategically angled your camera.
Yeah. I didn't point it under my desk,
I know.
strategically.
I see you repping Xbox today. Your Hall of Fame hoodie.
So
it's a very
I'm
nice
sorry.
hoodie.
I'm sorry to say to Malesh. I know he had his eye on, because he's like, oh, you're wearing a different shirt every episode. Wow, this is amazing. Then we went into winters, like, wow, yeah, wearing a different hoodie every episode. Malaysia, I couldn't do it today. I was like, I don't care. I'm just putting on this hoodie because I know it's warm, it's clean, it's comfy.
But that's what winter is. You don't have the same number of jackets as you do t-shirts.
No,
you end up just wearing loads of the same thing during winter, especially because it's just warm. So
I have a question for you. Do you wear hoodies?
No, not really.
Why not?
I don't know. I just don't own any. Shani also finds this very peculiar. Like that I just don't own that
leading
many
up
hoodies.
to your birthday, I was like, man, this is a really nice Zelda hoodie I can buy for you.
Oh, I did see that hoodie. It is very nice. Yeah.
And then I asked Shani, I was like, do you think you would like this? And then she's like, it's somewhere between our exchange, I realized, I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen you wear a hoodie. And she said, he doesn't own any hoodies. And like, and then she's like, and this was like on a random weekday. She's like, at the moment he's sitting in the lounge wearing his like puffer jackets. I was like, why? You're at home. Like, put a hoodie on.
I literally I own, I think, one jacket that's like a hoodie, like a zip thing. But I don't know. I mean, I used to own hoodies, like pullover hoodies like you're wearing now. I think I find the fact that I hardly use the hood annoying because then it's always behind me.
It's there, yeah.
It's like, yeah.
It's
so
not the point.
I have a gown with a hood, which I use quite often.
That's hilarious.
But other than that, I've got thick like jerseys, but no hood. Like even now, I'm not wearing a hood. Like
because it just never crossed my mind. I was like, damn, that's a nice hoodie. Then it was like, hang on. Dude, and even Shot like, yeah, no, he's weird like that. He's just wearing his jacket now. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I know. She finds
so all I did
she finds it very strange.
I got you the exact same print, but the t-shirts.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be like on the couch, like in jeans, and she'd be like, why?
Why?
I'll be like, I don't know.
At home, I'm like, I can't. It's tracksuit pants, comfort clothes. So I can lunge on a whim.
To be fair, when we started working from home, I was adamant, like, I'm going to dress as if I was going to work. And that actually lasted a pretty long time when I was back at home. Why is my camera like so out of focus? What the hell?
I don't know. Sure, you're drunk.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Anyway. But then it just like, I gave up. Now I'm just comfort clothes all the time. It's fantastic.
See, I'm like that, but Lenska, on a day, she'll be like, she'll just not get changed, whatever, but then at some point she's like, I have to get dressed.
Yeah,
there we go.
That's the thing. Yeah, I don't know. The autofocus just freaked out for a second there. Yeah, eventually every now and then I'm putting on jeans, but especially now in winter, jeans, I've realized, not warm.
Nope.
Like at all. They like
worst.
Almost retain no heat. So I've realized that in the winters where I was wearing them to work, it only worked because, well,
workers,
you're in those offices where they just pump that hot, gross air into an office, and it's gross. I hate it. And that's just like getting sick 101.
Yeah. But yeah, it's cold in Joburg, but you know what? It's I'm glad I missed the cold front you guys had, because that was apparently...
Yeah. No, this is a lot better than that already. Yeah. I mean, the fact that the cold front was bad because there was no sun. Like, it was just overcast for like a week. So there were even days where the sun came out in the morning and you're like, oh, it's warm, and then it would disappear, and you would literally feel the temperature just like dip completely.
You're like, come back, please.
It's horrible. So having the sun, big plus. I mean, it's cold, but it's not It's nowhere near as cold as that. It was
Yeah.
like 6 degrees during the day. It
My
sucked.
goodness.
But
Yeah,
welcome
well,
back
Thank you.
to your traditional camera view.
I
You
think,
no longer need to be lit AF.
No, I think everything's set up. I keep having a moment. I'm like, am I recording? Is everything plugged in? You can hear me? Yeah, I think.
Wait until you stream on Tuesday and you have this anxiety again.
Yeah, weirdly enough, when I plugged all my stuff in, I had so I've got a multi-plug, and in my mind, that thing was full. There were like 3 plugs, whatever. I mean, there were no open spots. Now that I've plugged everything in, when I was done last night, I was like, but there are 3 open slots. I'm like, what have I forgotten? Like, I don't know. So I guess during the week, I'm like, I need to do this. Like, I didn't plug it in or something.
I hope it's something you haven't forgotten in Cape Town.
No, I was thinking it might just be like my work laptop. And in Cape Town, that multi-plug, I had like the routes and a whole lot of other shit plugged in.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Are you happy to be back to... Well, I guess you had good internet in Cape Town. So is it just
the internet in Cape Town was good. It was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah,
Nice.
back in the east, kind of really lean into my more Joburg dialect.
Yeah, you can't. You don't have to pretend to be Cape Townian anymore.
Also, I like greet to Cape Townian. They roll their eyes and go, these Joburgers.
God, you're only meant to be here in December. Goodness.
Oh my God. Why do you like this? Yeah, it's good to be back.
Let's Checkpoint Chat, talk about video games.
Sometimes.
Last time out, we spoke about all of the video games at E3, which was a lot of them.
There's a lot of stuff.
Which meant we missed out on things that we've been playing, which also turns out quite a lot of stuff. Old and new.
More you've been playing some stuff. What do you want to start with? The big one?
Yeah, so on last week, I hadn't, when we recorded the E3 episode, I hadn't finished Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart yet. I had been playing it, but I wasn't done. And then I think the next day I finished it because I took leave, so I just blommed. Yeah, I just blommed on the couch and finished it. Look, it's not a super long game. I'd say it's, in that region of like 15 to 20 hour type thing. If that, probably closer to 15. And that's with like everything done. I platinumed the game. I did all the side quests.
Well, that's what I found hilarious is that you messaged me. We'd probably played about the same, like call it 3 hours, and you messaged me saying, yeah, like Ratchet and Clank's good, but it's not blowing me away like people, have. It's not as big as people have made it out to be. And then like literally the next day or 36 hours later, like, so I platinumed the game. And it's like, oh, okay, that was quite a 180. You don't just go from like this is good to like, damn, like I like this enough that I just went and got all the trophies as well. Although it's a easy platinum from what I've heard.
It is it's one of those like trying to think of another game that was similar to this, but I can't for the life of me now. But it's one of those where by the time you finished it, you've pretty much got the majority of the trophies. So there's just like, I think I had like 3 or 4 that I needed to travel back and forwards to get a few things. And the only irritating one was there was a trophy tied to a particular weapon that I didn't actually use that much.
Was it the shield weapon?
Yeah.
My one colleague, he told me, he said, if you're going for that platinum, just be aware that's the one weapon you should use.
Yeah, because you need to get it to level 5 to unlock an ability, and then you need to kill certain enemies with that ability. So when I saw that, I think the gun was only on level 2, and I was like, oh, this sucks. So I had to like go and find people to shoot at this thing and grind. That was the only annoying one. What's weird is that there's no trophy for the gold bolts, which I found strange.
So when you guys said you platinumed, I thought, oh shit, like you found all the gold bolts, but I've come to realize that that's not
even no trophy for that. Yeah, I mean, there's a trophy for a collectible, which is harder to find than the gold bolts because it's not on your map. And there's only one per planet, so I had to like I used a guide to find 2 of them. Like at that point, I'm not like gonna run around this map looking for this thing. Like I couldn't give a shit. So, but the game is good. Like you said, I think at the beginning I was enjoying it a bunch because I like Ratchet and Clank as a series a lot. I've played like I think probably all of them at this point. And I don't know, at the beginning I was like, this is really fun, but it's also this is Ratchet and Clank. There's no real
It's the same.
difference. Yeah, I'm
I mean,
feeling like it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, coming in off the 2016 one, like, because I'm brand new to the franchise, I've just played that. It literally rolled credits, moved over to the new one. I was like, huh, this is like
Yeah,
exactly the same, just looks a lot prettier.
It starts off at a much more like high octane pace than the remake, which I appreciated because I felt like the remake really drags its heels in the first like hour. This one like gets you into the action really, really quickly, which is great. But yeah, it is Ratchet gameplay, and that doesn't really change throughout. You know, it is still you get put into little combat arenas and you've got like lots of the one thing that you get here, which I really appreciate, is more mobility. So the inclusion of the dash is a huge one. And you know, it seems like a no-brainer. It's like a dash, but it really changes like the flow of combat.
It's interesting playing the 2016 one because I know obviously it's a remake of the first game, which didn't have a dash or any sort of mobility. But
this is the first one to have a dash.
Yeah, but even playing that, I was like, holy shit! Like this, like I enjoyed the game, no doubt about it. But I was just like, this lacks that movement, which every other game has now. It
needs that movement.
So having that come into Rift Apart is like very, very welcome.
Because previously you could only do those like little strafing somersaults, which are really fun to pull off. But yeah, I mean, and it feels like the combat is tuned for that dash because it feels a lot more chaotic. At least I started off the game playing on hard because I'd read that it was a bit easy. So I was like, okay, you know, I have no problem with easy games, but I want a bit of a challenge. So I started it on like the second highest difficulty, whatever. And it definitely in some spots it's still pretty easy, but in others it's like you really need to keep, you know, you need to be very mindful of your movement because you die quite frequently. So yeah, the additional movement is probably the biggest addition to the gameplay. Like the dash, the wall run is used here and there, but it's mostly for puzzles. So, you know, there was never any wall runs in like combat arenas. There were one or two, but yeah, it's the things that the things that the trailers really focused on, you know, prior to the game launching don't really factor in as much. Like the Rift tether is nice, but it's just like you know, it's a cool visual effect. It looks really, really cool, but it's not really like, it's nothing more than like a grapple to a point. You know what I mean? The interdimensional portal stuff is very sparingly used. Like it's only for one or two puzzles in every level. It's like a portal to that puzzle room, and that's about it. Like you are never using that thing on demand. You never have a weapon that can do that. Although it does factor into some incredible set pieces later on in the game, and that's really where I started not turning, but like really falling in love with this game. Is those set pieces that come, I'd say, from the middle of the game, and then they don't let up till the end. Like there are certain planets, and I'm not going to say which because you're still playing through them, but there are certain planets and certain set pieces on those planets which just are mind-blowing. Just
amazing.
The number of moving parts in this level that are all like harmonizing while you are moving through them at this like breakneck pace. It's seriously impressive. Like some of the best set pieces I've ever seen in a game. On par with like the sort of stuff Naughty Dog does with Uncharted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really, really cool stuff that I think, you know, this game lives and dies on those moments, and there's so many good ones. So yeah, despite it feeling like a Ratchet game, it is. I don't think if you haven't enjoyed Ratchet in the past, I don't think you'll enjoy this one. Like,
no, I mean,
you'll appreciate how good it looks.
Yeah,
but it's the same thing. It's like go to a planet. The planet's got a theme, quote unquote, and each one is really nicely like bite-sized. I think about an hour each or so. So, they feel breezy. They never overstay their welcome. And I like that you're constantly learning new things throughout, but it is the same thing.
Yeah.
The game, I mean, Ratchet and Clank has always been about its great weapons, and
Yeah.
this one's no exception. The weapons are really fun to use.
I
I
mean,
really like them.
and they use look. So you'd know better because you've actually finished the game and used all the weapons. But thus far they use the dual sense. It's not quite like what's the term I'm looking for? It's not like game changing, but it's subtle enough to be like, if you with the starting weapon, for example, if you half press, like it shoots slow and steady, but if you push down all the way, it shoots a lot faster.
Like burst,
but yeah. And there's a few instances of that where it's like, well, here's this weapon which is a grenade. If you half press, it'll show you where it's gonna go. If you full press, you'll throw it. And it's like it's subtle, but it's really nice. And I like that they, use a dual sense like that. But I don't know to what extent any of the other weapons follow. Like, is that just a handful of weapons that really lean into that? Or
it's most of them, but they all fall within a sort of like a similarity. So all the grenade weapons do exactly what you just described. Yeah, this half press for an aiming like arc, and then the full press to throw. Most of them work with that, like the half presses to lock on, full presses to shoot something.
Okay.
That's that. Some of them, you get some where a half press like charges your shot and the full press lets it off. So you can
actually,
really
I do have that weapon. Yeah. That's cool.
So I agree with you. I think it is a good use of the dual sense. It's much, much better than, all the shooters that are coming out, especially mostly from third parties, where it's just like, okay, well, we're going to make the trigger feel resistive here and we're going to make the left trigger resistive here. Like there's actual thought put into each of the weapons. Like later on in the game, you get a sniper-ish weapon. And that's the only weapon where you feel a bit of resistance on the left trigger while you're aiming. But I think every weapon feels distinct enough that, it's really... I like that I played Returnal before this because Returnal really taught me the art of the half press. Because if you're coming to this for the first time, like half presses don't feel intuitive, but eventually they just become a sort of muscle memory thing. Yeah. So that aspect of the DualSense use is cool, but I think what really blew me away is the vibration. Like, my God, I mean, you've played the very first planet, is like an alternate dimension metropolis sort of thing.
Yeah.
And right at the beginning, you're directed to go towards this club called Club Nefarious. And I literally handed the controller to Shani because she was watching me play at one point. I was like, feel this, because you can feel the bass of the music through the DualSense
controller.
But it's so like accurate. That's the only word I can describe. Like it feels on the controller like what I would hear in my head.
Yeah.
It's incredible. The quality of that vibration. I don't know if they spent like ages tuning that perfectly, but it feels
they have
so
one person whose job
good.
is to do, like we all remember we joked about Batman's cape. Like there's one person's whole job was to animate that cape. Now they've got like a vibrations animator.
I wouldn't be shocked
engineer,
because it definitely throughout the game it doesn't feel like an afterthought. It feels like something they really wanted to nail throughout, because there's effects throughout the game with the vibration. I mean, even just walking, you feel the little pitter-patter on the controller. And, depending on the surface you're running on, that changes. And they nail it throughout. Like that club scene is a really good early like treat to that. But man, it comes through in other set pieces, especially where that vibration really just it elevates it to a new level. And it just shows that first parties are making use of this controller in the best ways.
I hope
it does destroy the battery on your controller. Like, my God.
But I have to believe that well, not I have to believe. I hope with time the third party people start to realize like, oh, this is a potential. Like not even just for the vibration, but also the trigger resistances, using the half press,
Mm.
that sort of thing. It is another way to like separate input methods. And like
I mean,
when we started Returnal, I was there with you. I was like, I can't wrap my head around this half press, full press thing.
yeah, it
Because
was so weird at the time.
it feels, sorry for the pun, alien. But it after like an hour, it's muscle memory and it feels good.
Yeah.
Like just to tap it lightly and then push it in all the way.
And it does elevate the game, like giving you that option, that separate option. It really opens up some doors to, right now it's all used in a sort of similar way. It's like a secondary and primary fire on a weapon. But I can see games which aren't primarily about shooting using those things in creative ways. The adaptive triggers don't just have to mimic triggers on a weapon. They can trigger all sorts of things. So I know in Metro Exodus, which got its next gen patch last week or this week, I don't know. They've used the adaptive triggers to, they say, make different profiles for each gun. But there is one gun in Metro Exodus which is like a pneumatic like ball bearing launcher. And the whole thing with this gun is that you constantly have to top up its like gas level.
Yeah.
So I haven't felt it, but I kind of want to feel it. Apparently, every time you shoot it, the resistivity of the trigger changes depending on the level of gas on the gun. So you don't have to look at the meter to know that, if my trigger press is hardly having any resistance, there's probably no gas in this gun.
Okay.
And that's cool. Like that's a really unique way to bring that into that game. So yeah, I hope that more third parties, because that is obviously third party, like lean into it more heavily there. Because in Call of Duty, it was just kind of shit. Like it was every gun feels like a trigger press and that's it.
Even in Resident Evil 7, it was frustrating sometimes because
8, you mean?
8, sorry, not 7. It came to a thing of, so every weapon has its own fire rate, whatever, but there was resistance. I was like, am I just not pushing this hard enough or quick enough? And it, kind of didn't feel great.
It doesn't feel good, no.
Yeah.
And I think the resistance on like on the left trigger, especially for aiming, is just like really shit.
That to me doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. It's
why do you? I mean, Call of Duty, was it Cold War? Is if you pull up like a sniper rifle, it's like
it's like really
I'm
hard.
Like, okay, I get the weapon's heavy, but holy hell!
and then it does that for every weapon. So every aiming down the sights feels like you're like doing a bicep curl with your left finger. And considering you're going in and out of sight so quickly in that game.
That's why my fingers have 6-packs on them now.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It was just like, okay, this is maybe a cool idea. I hope that is the one implementation of that I think is just terrible. I turn it off as quickly as I can because it doesn't feel great. But yeah, sorry, we got off topic here. Ratchet's good.
Yeah. Ratchet good, bad dual sense implementation's bad.
Now Ratchet's really fun. Like I said, I was positive on this game from the get-go. Especially after the reviews were so glowing. I was expecting something revolutionary, and it's not revolutionary. I think it's very much the same sort of Ratchet game, but at the same time, it's still really fun. I had a smile on my face the entire time. And the set pieces are great. And I think, if you bought a PS5 and really wanted to see that thing sing, this is the game to do it, because visually this game is like unbelievable. It's really impressive.
I've seen some photos in the photo mode where even like just on the ray tracing, for example, there was a photo going around this week sometime where it is like just a close up of Rivet's face wearing a glass helmet. And just the reflections, it was like crystal clear,
crazy.
Pristine. Yeah, and I mean, when you're playing the game, that there's so much happening on the screen, and it's like the 2016 remake looked like a Pixar movie, but now they've just like turned it up more, and it's unreal how the animations like crisp and so smooth, and it just looks, it's gorgeous.
It's incredible, and I highly recommend playing it on the performance ray tracing mode because like that game at 60 frames is also just insane. It feels so
I put it on
good.
put on fidelity. I'm like, I can't do this.
No.
It has to be battery smooth.
And you don't really miss out on any of the ray tracing quality or reflections. So I mean I played the whole game through that and it looked incredible. I also really like a shout out to that fur tech. I don't know what it is on Ratchet and Rivet. You can tell the individual like fibers on their fur almost. It looks so good.
Amazing.
It looks so nice. Like the very first time you see Ratchet up close and you can tell he just looks fluffy. It just
just
really
want to cuddle him.
Rivet is a phenomenal character as well.
Yeah,
I think she's such
really
a good
cool.
addition. I really hope there's more of her in Ratchet sequels, because if she's just a one-off character, I'd be very sad.
You'll
see
I haven't finished
you'll
the
see
game,
as
but
the story progresses.
I somehow don't see them just ditching her for any potential
I highly
sequels.
doubt it. Yeah. No, they really cement her as a real part of like the universe, and she is the heart of the story. Like I love Ratchet, but it was her chapters that I was like most engrossed in.
Yeah.
I think she's just really, really fun.
Here's the big question. The game's good. Would you consider it a Game of the Year contender? You see,
so this year's been weird. I don't know. There's not many games I would consider as Game of the Year contenders, even though we're like near July. I don't know. I'm not taking away anyone who says that this is their Game of the Year front runner. Like,
no, not for sure.
I can understand that
not
perspective.
My intention at all, but your personal opinion.
I don't think so. No, like it's up there. It's definitely one of the best games I've played this year. But I don't think it's like last year when I played Hades, I was like, yep, this is it. This is my Game of the Year. I didn't come away from Ratchet feeling immediately like that. Even though I had a really good time with it. So who knows? We'll see.
How dare you?
How dare I? I mean, this year's still got a lot to come, but it's definitely up there. I think if you have a PS5, you should not sleep in this game.
For sure.
Like, there's no question that you should be buying into this game. So it's real good. And I can't wait for you to play more because I want to hear your impressions. I think you're going to really enjoy the later stages of that game.
I think in Cape Town, it was a weird thing. I never really went and sat, and I mean I played some PS5. Like there were a few evenings when Lenska was working late, whatever. But like at home, I'll come and I'll play PS5 because it's here and like this is my home. Whatever. But there I was like, I just want to chill, like climb into bed and just relax, whatever. So I'm definitely gonna have to play catch up. Especially
speaking of climbing into bed and playing games.
Oh my god! Okay, I'll talk first. I've been playing so much of Breath of the Wild, and let me tell you, I'm glad I am because we'll get to it later. We'll talk about the Nintendo Direct, but Breath of the Wild 2 looks. I
remember before you left for Cape Town, you said you had this itch.
I can't even explain. I don't know why. I think. Maybe it was just the E3 hype of, there's a potential Breath of the Wild sequel. And you and I thought like it's possibly coming out this year. And I thought, well, for the longest time, I've wanted to just dabble and replay Breath of the Wild. Like it's been 4 years. Like I'll make time for it.
Think.
Yeah, it is crazy to think. And eventually I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I can always just stop playing if I don't, if it distracts, whatever. And I have not put it down. Let me tell you that game is still good. It's as good as I remember it. And I appreciate it even more now the second time because I'm picking up on little it's almost like back end or subtle things that I might not have really noticed the first time. So like I was telling you in conversation, whatever, that Breath of the Wild is like, it's this open world game. You can go wherever you want and whatever. But don't you find it interesting that most people do follow the same path initially? Like, unless you really want to just YOLO and pick a direction on the map. But most people will funnel their way towards this first divine beast in that one, because the game's very subtly leading you those ways. Like the first, I mean, it gives you some starting quests like, oh, you should go see this person in that village, and then that person in the village is like, oh, you should go here, whatever. But like the one thing that stands out, I was telling you, you meet a character in the game. I think it's Hestu, the character that expands your inventory slots. And I thought, like, if you don't meet this character, if I just went the complete opposite direction, I'd play hours upon hours of the game with. I mean, your starting inventory is not like limited, but it's
it's tiny,
not big, yeah. But I was like, how did I find this character? Like, I just stumbled onto this character in my first playthrough, and maybe I was lucky. But it's like 100% intentional, because one of your first quests is like, you need to go to this village behind that mountain, whatever. And you're like, cool, I'll just climb it. But you can't, because it's raining and it's high, like the mountain's high. So you're forced to walk the paths, and there on the path is that character.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's very subtle. Like, don't get me wrong, like Breath of the Wild is very much like a sandbox. You can do whatever you want. But there are some very subtle, intentional design things there. You go, damn, like they've really thought this through. And
I think you're picking up on those more like a second playthrough.
Yeah, now because I know. I mean, even it's a thing of like, if every area in the map has like a stable or like a mini hub, and that's where you get all your information. There's always like a person in that says like, oh, if you go north, there's this here. If you go west, there's this here. Oh, like you're looking for this specific photo spot. Like, I think it's like north past this area, and all the information you need is there. And it's just designed like this game. Like, I don't know what size it is, but I think we all remember back then, it's like, wait a minute, this game's only like 10 gigs or 50. It's like this really small game with just so much detail. Like, look, the world is expansive and not like dense with stuff, but it's yeah, what a game. Like,
But this is part of the reason why there's like so much brilliance in its design, is that it's not just this open world that they plop you into and expect you to make your way through. Like you said, it is subtly suggesting ways to get around it. And there's a lot of thought put into that, and also just the geometry of the map, so that when you have finished, this area, so to speak, your sight line is immediately drawn to something in the distance that you're like, okay, let me go there. And the game is intentionally prodding you to go in that direction. Like,
and not only that, you can tell that like every inch of that map has been like handcrafted. There's been some attention to detail. So, I mean, it's not really a criticism, but the game, you want to explore. And sometimes like the incentive for exploring is not that great. Like side quests, you do the side quest and the rewards 50 rupees or something. Like, why? Why did I spend my time doing this? But I know that if I climb a mountain and I go somewhere, even if there's no, like, even if I don't find a korok with a seed, whatever, there'll be like a patch of like rocks and this, and then it's designed a certain way. I'm like, damn, like they've even paid attention to this little no-name brand rock, like cliff face on the corner of the map. Like somebody sat and like really, it just makes it feel personal. And I mean, this is the narrative for whatever years ago was like, I'm playing Breath of the Wild. Have you found this spot yet? Oh man,
exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I was running, and then like I glided over to this thing, and this happened, and it's this just huge, beautiful, playground. But look,
that's exactly it. That's where the reward comes from. I think is like, it's not really, I think in other open world games, they're so concerned about the reward at the end of the tunnel that the journey is kind of like, I wouldn't say ignored, but isn't paid as much attention to. No. Whereas in Breath of the Wild, that is the reward. Like you said, you get maybe a few rupees here and there or a korok seed, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point was like, oh, I managed to get up here in this inventive way that felt very unique to my playthrough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And even just the constant sense of awe I have in the game. Like, I've played it before. But there's nothing quite like you climbing up a mountain, whatever, and then as you get to the top, like the sun breaks through the clouds, and then you stand on the top, and then you just like, wow, this is amazing. And then you look like, oh, there's a place there. You just go there, and
You
then
just hang glide there.
there's
So
and
good.
there's just a sense of discovery. Even there's one like pretty early in the game, you see there's like a big mountain, and I was like, I can't remember at what point in my first playthrough I went there. It might have been late because I didn't know about temperature management is a thing of you need to have the right clothes, for example, or
Yes.
cook
Yeah.
the right thing. But one thing I learned in my first playthrough is like, but if you have a fire weapon on your back, you can negate some of
It keeps you
the cold.
slightly warm. Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to go to that mountain a lot earlier than I would have. And then I got to the top and there was a dragon there. And I was like, oh, yeah, like this game's got.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's got dragons, and this dragon was covered in blight. I was like, shit, I completely forgot about this. And it's funny because I've played this game, but I've still got this whole sense of awe and discovery. Like, wow, like I can't believe I found this, and this, this happened, whatever. It's just, anyone who has a Switch and hasn't played this game, like, I don't think it's for everyone. I think some people do like to have let's call it like
structure.
Yeah, like the Assassin's Creed formula of like, here's your area, here's a whole lot of side quests, go and tick them off. Whereas this is, you can do that. There's a bunch of side quests if you look for them. The reward's not necessarily, worth the effort, but they are there. But this game is really more about you just do your thing. You really discover it at your own pace. And yeah, I'm probably going to 100% it. Like I'm busy hunting down all the shrines. I definitely want to hunt down all the memories. Oh my god, the line. And I'm playing on master mode. What a bitch of a difficulty.
Yeah. Is it much harder?
I think starting out is a lot harder. But
Can you imagine when you don't have like a good assortment of weapons?
Holy hell. You start on the Great Plateau, and so the way master mode works is every enemy is sort of bumped up a tier of so on the Great Plateau,
your bokoblins are like good bokoblins.
Yeah, no, so there would normally be red bokoblins, which are the easiest ones, but they bumped up a tier, so now they are blue, so they have more health, they hit harder.
Fun.
So when you start, it's like, I can't kill any of these because I've got a tree branch. It doesn't, and the weapons break
before
quickly.
You kill it. Yeah,
and not only that, the master mode enemies' health regenerates if you ignore them long enough. So previously it was a thing of like, I'll just stand on this cliff and cheese away with bombs. You can't do that. You have to actively engage with enemies. So initially it was very challenging. It was actually a bit frustrating because I was like, am I really going to do the whole game like this?
Yeah.
But now that I've got bigger inventory, I've since killed a few Lionels. I've got good weapons. It's 100% manageable.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good time. Really, really glad I'm replaying it.
And now that you're replaying it, are you still team weapon degradation or not?
I think the weapons degrade a little too fast for my liking. Like, I have no issue with durability, whatever, but it feels weird to use a weapon in like one encounter, then it breaks. It's like, okay, who made this? Fire this blacksmith. They did not do a good job. But you
reckon it's still an important aspect of the game as a whole?
I think it's not crucial, but it helps keep the game interactive. Because like I'm not picking up a weapon and then not exploring. It becomes a thing of I've got some good weapons, but I'm constantly gonna look around, poke around. If I find a better weapon, I'll replace one of my lower attack damage weapons, or I'm just going to use a lower attack damage weapon because it's nearly done anyway. Are you not team durability?
No, I think it's a crucial part of the game, and I do not understand arguments where people say that it should be removed entirely. I'm like,
no, I don't think it's
removing a aspect of the game that encourages exploration. Like,
I don't think it should be removed entirely. Like, I can completely understand people's frustrations purely because, like I said, it feels like some weapons just break way too quickly.
I can agree with that. Yeah,
but when you reach a point in the game where you've got a good set of weapons and you cycling through them, like if I stumble upon a Lana in the wild, I'm gonna spend 2 or 3 weapons taking it down because it's got a lot of health, but I will get a good weapon, a good shield, and a good bow and arrow as a reward, and I just replace whatever I expended anyway. So,
and you're also I can't recall a time where I was ever like frustrated at the lack of weapons because they're just everywhere.
No, they're
like
everywhere.
you have so
Yeah.
many.
Look,
So,
I can't say you'll get because if you're just stumbling upon different camps, whatever, you're gonna pick up like low tier, mid tier enemy weapons. But you always have weapons, like without a doubt.
But like the dynamic like combat encounters where it's like, oh shit, I didn't realize this thing was about to break. It broke. I don't have anything really. I'm gonna have to like run around and be skillful with my bow and knock this weapon out of someone's hand and grab it. Like, if you don't have weapon degradation, you miss all of that. So,
yeah, no, that's true. Like, yeah, I suppose you do make a fair point of it is kind of crucial to this specific gameplay loop.
100%, yeah. 100%, yeah.
Well, I'm not complaining. I'm exploring. My weapons are breaking very quickly because Master Mode's got F off hard.
You haven't got the Master
enemies.
Sword yet.
No, I found the forest again though. I need to go get some hearts now.
Have you? Oh, speaking of when you get there, you must let me know Eventide Island because that on Master
I haven't
Mode
done that
must
yet.
be fun.
No, I've not done that yet. Yeah, I'll get there. But yeah, Breath
I
of the
can't remember
Wild,
if it strips away your health upgrades there.
I don't think it strips away your health upgrades, but
so
I
that's
don't
the
think
only thing you keep. Is your
yeah,
health.
but I don't think it'll make too much of a difference because I mean, you get to the island, you don't really have armor, and any armor you find isn't
armor,
great. So it doesn't matter if you have like 10 hearts.
That island is still like a highlight of that game. It really is something else.
Yeah,
sick.
I'll get there.
You've made me want to play this game now, which is bad because I don't have the time to.
Breath of the Wild, bad. Other games, good.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild, exactly. Very quickly, I've restarted my journey with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now that Intergrade is out, the PlayStation 5 patch, we'll say game looks real good. Game at 60 frames per second is very good. It's super smooth and it feels like that combat sings with the additional fluidity. I'm 8 hours in, so I've just gotten past the Airbuster boss fight, which you say is nearing up on like halfway through the game, which is quite a surprise to me.
I think it's just under halfway through the game, but I mean, you are relatively far.
Yeah, and I mean, I did all the side stuff that, you know, when I got to it, I did all that. So I don't know if I'm just blazing through the game or not, but game's good. Game's really fun. I'm still learning the intricacies of the combat because I still feel like I die very quickly in some encounters where I shouldn't be dying. But I think it is so ridiculous at some points in the best ways possible. Like it's so over the top. But I'm having a fantastic time with it now that I'm actually investing time into it.
Yeah, it's one of those games I've been like dying for you to play because, you know, there are, like you said, there are moments of what the hell.
Oh my god. My favorite so far has been the side quest where you have to hunt down 3 cats. And it's just like you get to the one cat and the cat hisses at you and runs away and Cloud is just like, this sucks. And it's just like, yes. Yes, it does.
Yeah, I think I appreciate how that game bounces between like super serious and super silly, like within moments of each other. I mean, you'll play through the game. The dialogue, the writing, the characters. It's like
so
what
ridiculous.
it's ridiculous, but like what a they really did that game justice. Like anyone who says they did a disservice to the original game, I'm like, I don't know. Like I just can't see it.
They understand what that game is about. Like you've got the super serious eco-terrorist plot, which has like real, you know, political commentary on current events, even though the story's like 20 years old. But then on top of it, like you mix that with a boss who rides a motorbike into battle and does like pivots on wheels and so ridiculous.
Just like real life.
It's some of the most, I love it. Like it's just so over the top and fun and it's so self-aware of itself. Like it knows when to take things seriously and when not to. Like yesterday, Tifa, Barrett, and Cloud were all like so super stoked that they could pull switches in harmony. I'm like, guys, this isn't really that difficult. But they're like, it's just the characterizations are so great, and I
Yeah.
really like it. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
dig
what
it.
I think my last comment on that was, I think when the demo came out, we and many others were like, shit, if this is a demo, how do they keep this, the cinematic
This
side of
level
things
of
going
quality, yeah,
for the whole game? And they really do. Like,
yeah.
every boss fight is like this epic something. Oh, I had a coffee just arrive. How nice.
Yeah,
And
I
it's,
think they
yeah.
keep up that bar of quality
Thank you.
throughout so far. I do think the opening visually is the most impressive thing I've seen. But especially with this this PS5 upgrade, the game looks really good. I think it's borderline on that level where you're like, how did this run on a PS4? It's probably
Yeah.
unfair that I'm playing it straight after Ratchet because like two very different looking games. But the scale in Ratchet is just something that this game just doesn't achieve.
Yeah. Well, I think especially putting them side by side, I can completely
It's a very
get that.
different type of game.
But I mean,
yeah.
if you come at it the other way, when I first played Final Fantasy, I thought the scale was awesome purely because it's like, if you in the slums, you look up, you're like, holy shit! Like you can see the plates and you can just see the sun line over there, whatever. But I get it. Ratchet is like, you see that, but there's moving bits everywhere.
Yeah, there's lots of moving bits. Yeah, yeah, like I said, it's an unfair comparison considering one is designed just for PlayStation 5 and one is like a cross-gen. But, I think they made good concessions with this is a linear area, but because it's linear, we're going to make it look absolutely stunning. And they do a
Yeah.
really good job of that. So
Yeah.
I really love the combat. If this is the future of Final Fantasy combat, I'm fucking all in on this. Because this is like Final Fantasy 15 wishes it had this combat.
Yeah, it's again, it's like they really I thought they really respected the the original Final Fantasy about giving you the option to pause the combat and do it that way. But they
You
introduced
can
this whole
even play
dynamic
it only in that way. You can play it in classic mode, yeah.
But the fact that they kept that with the materia system, but they still introduced this whole fluid like dynamic combat is just it's like
crazy.
What a clever system. And the fact that you bounce between your different characters, it's like
that's the thing I'm learning. I have to bounce between them. If you don't,
but even that in itself, when initial previews or commentary on the game came out, I was a bit hesitant because coming off Final Fantasy 15, like I love Final Fantasy 15, don't get me wrong, but I played Noctis and everyone else was just there.
They kind of did their thing.
So I was like, I'm not quite fond of, me controlling one character, then there's AI doing the other things. But the fact that you get to bounce between them and you kind of have to, it just solved all those concerns I had. So yeah.
No, I agree. It's really and each character feels good to play as. Like I think I tweeted about it, but Tifa, like give me an action game where I'm just playing as Tifa because her combat feels so fucking good. Like the punches, the uppercuts.
Yeah, just the thing of building. You build her. So like, I mean, it's been a while since I played, but I know you like build her meters, whatever. Then you like spam triangle to work your way down all her finishing moves and stuff. Yeah, it's good.
It's really, really good. So yeah, having a great time with that, and we'll continue enjoying that during this busy period of video games, just playing old games. So that's cool. Should we bounce to game releases?
Game releases, yes.
Actually, not sure what is coming out.
I think is it not like a quietish time now before?
Sort of. There were some big games that launched like during E3 week, which was bizarre. Like you had Ratchet and Clank, you had Chicory, which I really want to play still.
Oh, I still want to play that. That reviewed pretty well as well.
It's got like 91 on Metacritic. It's crazy high. So yeah, so there are definitely games to play that came out, kind of under the radar. But for now, we're looking at game releases from June 19th until June 25th. June 19th, quite a handful. Nothing that really catches. I lied. There's like two that catch my eye. Yeah. So just very quickly, we've got Ender Lilies coming to PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, June 22nd. We've got Dark Alliance, which I think is that Dungeons and Dragons game, isn't it? I think.
I
don't
know.
I swear to God, I saw that during E3. It's like a third-person dungeon
Yeah.
crawler thing. Yeah, that's coming to every platform except Switch. Yeah, on June 22nd. You've got Labyrinth City, Pierre the Maze Detective. I like that name. That's good. Coming to PC June 22nd. Phantom Abyss, Steam Early Access, PC June 22nd. Out of Line, which I always am. June 23rd.
Always. Game based on your life.
The Legend of Mana remake. I assume this is the remake. Coming to PC,
Surely,
PS4, and Switch June 24th.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX. Okay.
Cool.
PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox, basically everything. Then the two big games for the week. I didn't realize both of these were out this soon. Scarlet Nexus. PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, June 25th. If I'm not mistaken, this game is on Game Pass? Because it was part of the Xbox showcase last year, yeah.
I don't know if it is. I actually have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. But it looks fun. Anime fighting looks cool.
Can't go wrong with anime fighting.
Can't go wrong. Also, June 25th, Mario Golf Super Rush.
Super Rush. Now, this is my problem. We've had such a quiet period now. Like, I mean, I had Monster Hunter and I've been playing that a lot and I've replaced it with Breath of the Wild. Now I need to finish Breath of the Wild this week, which is not going to happen. So I can get to Mario Golf.
I am so excited for Mario Golf. Like, I told Shani that I'm like so keen for this, and she's like, "But you don't like golf?" I'm like, "Yes, but arcade golf games, they are so much fun."
Okay, look, I can't really comment because I actually do enjoy playing IRL golf, but playing IRL golf is not at all the same as playing an arcade golf game. Like, everybody's golf, and even just, you know, a traditional, what are they even called now, like Tiger Woods or PGA Tour, whatever those are fun. Like, a good golf game is just fun. So pair that with Mario, where there's a whole lot of, you know, just Mario goodness. Can't wait.
Yep.
So who are you going to play as? Yeah, you see, now you need to think. And I'm pretty sure every character has their own stats as well.
Is there a Shy Guy? Can you play as a Shy Guy? I play as a Shy Guy.
A little Shy Guy.
Shy Guys seem like they're good at golf. They're quiet, you know, they unassuming. I also see you can play as Rosalina, I think.
She sure,
seems like she'd be good.
I look forward to wiping the floor with you as my good homie Luigi.
Not Waluigi?
No. If that guy, Luigi.
I can play as Wario.
Oh no. Wow. Waluigi, my goodness. Yeah, I'm very keen for that.
Yeah, I'm super keen. It's developed by Camelot, who did Mario Tennis Aces, and I loved Tennis Aces. I thought it was so much fun. So
it was good.
Yeah, I'm keen on golf. Golf, we should play. Definitely play. Should we get to gaming news?
Gaming news. Let me.
So we recorded earlier this week, just before the last big kind of E3 blowout, which was the Nintendo Direct.
What?
And yeah, the Nintendo Direct was pretty fucking good, I thought. Lots of surprises, put it that way. Lots of things that I didn't expect to show up, and a lot of people didn't expect to show up, which may or may not be your cup of tea, considering, but I think everything there was kind of like interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, they outright said at the beginning, and I think I don't know who coined it or who started first, but I'm pretty sure it was the Nintendo Direct where one of the announcers like, "We hope you found at least something, you know, to be excited about."
To be excited about, yeah.
Which is a fair thing because you're never going to have a show where every game is something you want to play. So,
no, for sure. I think they hit a broad stroke of franchises, especially like dormant ones, which are, you know, it's really exciting. So kicked off with new Smash Bros. Character, of course. Kazuya from Tekken is coming to Super Smash Bros., which is wild.
Who murdered everyone.
I
Except
love that
Kirby.
the trailer opened with people being tossed into a volcano. It's just the best thing.
So, like hats off to the Super Smash team because they are so self-aware and like just they love having fun with all their characters because it's like ridiculous. Why would he throw everyone into the volcano?
exactly, yeah.
Oh my god,
That must be his final Smash. Like, I just love that the Nintendo has kept the canon alive that you can't kill Kirby. Like, he throws Kirby and Kirby just like does the inflate thing and comes back. It's very funny. I thought it was great. So yeah, Kazuya is launching on June 28th for Super Smash Bros., which is cool. Bunch of games coming to Switch, which were just kind of like run through. We've got the Life is Strange Remaster Collection, Life is Strange True Colors also. Guardians of the Galaxy, which at first I was like, how the fuck did that happen? Then I realized it's a cloud streaming game, so that's...
Do they make that clear? Because I did not see that at all.
It wasn't very clear. It was like a thing of text, but yeah. If this is the first time you're hearing about it,
Guardians
I'm sorry.
of the Galaxy on cloud.
Yeah, it's the cloud version. You have to stream it.
You have to stream it.
And only in regions you can stream it. So
oh my god.
Yeah. 2 Point Campus is coming. Got Just Dance, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
That Dragon Ball Z that looked kind of cool. It reminded me of...
That came out, I think, earlier this year or last year.
So is it ours?
It's cool.
That's so funny.
It's like an RPG set through the kind of stories of the series, which is cool. You play as Kakarot, I guess.
Carrot cake.
Carrot cake, yes. I actually, funnily enough, I downloaded for some reason a Dragon Ball Z game on my phone, a mobile game, and it features a new character. So you know how all the characters in Dragon Ball Z are kind of named after like foods, like Kakarot is carrot apparently, and Vegeta's vegetable, and Piccolo is I think cucumber or something. So this new character in this mobile game, his name is Shallot, and I'm just like,
oh my god.
That's not even like trying to be...
Can we backpedal? Piccolo is cucumber. Is Piccolo the green guy?
Yes.
Amazing. I did not know that.
It's very funny.
Oh, that's great.
Dragon Ball Z is top tier.
Love it.
Shallot's like not even like... Kakarot is at least like a Japanese name for a vegetable. Like Shallot is straight up just a vegetable. Yeah. It is a onion. Like... But it's funny. Then you even get like there was an enemy trio or enemy group guy called Garlic Jr., which is like. And then you
I love it. How have I not played this game?
I think you had the salt and pepper people, if I'm not mistaken.
My God,
yeah, it's real fun, real dumb
I love
good
it.
stuff. I love it. Yeah. Other games coming to Switch: Astray Ascending, Fatal Frame, Maiden of Blackwater. The Doom Eternal DLC came out. It was the like sort of shadow drop thing.
How that game exists on Switch, I still don't know.
It's still wild to me, yeah.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, and Strange Brigade, which I don't think anyone was asking for. Anyway, we're getting a new... Well, I think this is a remake of the first 3 games. Yeah, remastering of the first 3 games. Super Monkey Ball. I've never been into these games, but people seem super excited about them.
I'm the same as you, where I recognize the franchise and the game. I have not played a single one, but people love the shit out of Super Monkey Ball. Yeah.
Super Monkey Ball. It's
cool.
Cute. It's got a good style. Next up, we got, this was weird, a new Mario Party game. This at first looked like DLC, but it's a whole new game.
It's a brand new, yeah.
Yeah, Super Mario Party Superstars. So that's coming out on October 29th, which is wild.
Yeah.
I actually liked Mario Party enough. I played it with friends around the table, like friends who aren't really into video games, and it was kind of fun. It's ridiculous, but yeah, kind of cool. This was a big announcement. So
my goodness.
Basically, Nintendo said that work on Metroid Prime 4 is still progressing and that they don't really have an update, but they do have a update on another Metroid.
Can we just pause here quickly where they said Metroid 5? And I know that it's not Metroid Prime, but I laughed because it like literally the guy's like, we're still working on Metroid Prime 4. Here's something else, and it's like Metroid 5. So now someone who wouldn't know would be like,
What the fuck? Yeah.
What? The fourth game's still being developed, but now you're showing the fifth game. Like, what's going on?
So this is Metroid 5 in the 2D series, I
2D,
guess. Yeah. So I think people were saying this is the first new 2D Metroid in 19 years.
19 years,
yeah. Because they remade the Metroid, I think it's Metroid 2 on the 3DS recently. 3DS, So well, this is Metroid Dread.
Can we take a moment to appreciate it? Okay, so first of all, this game looks really good. Love the Samus suit. But there's a reason that whole genre of games is called Metroidvania, because, you know, the first Metroid was a sort of blueprint for games that would follow. Obviously, with Castlevania following later, Metroidvania. Yes. You get where I am. So I'm very excited for a visit back into, you know, this franchise and a proper 2D one at that. I'm very keen to see how, like, do they just keep, you know, signature series things, or do they, you know, get weird and experiment? Like, I don't know. It looks like a very dark trailer, though. It looks kind of creepy.
I didn't know that Metroid Dread was actually a game that was announced in 2005.
I haven't heard. Yeah.
It's crazy. I think people are having a lot of fun on the wiki because it was like, Metroid Dread was announced, blah, 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 and never came out. And then straight after this trailer, it was just like in all caps, it was like, oh my God, it actually got revealed.
Yeah. But this game looks so good.
It looks
really good.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. And just like you, I'm keen to play a traditional Metroid that follows a blueprint that I've come to really enjoy. I mean, Ori and the Blind Forest follows that structure. Hollow Knight follows that structure.
We didn't get Silk Song, so we Nintendo's like, we got you, fam. We'll reboot
we got you a new Metroid.
The original. I'm
this
very,
is out
very
soon. I think it's like October. Yeah, the 8th of October, because Americans can't do dates. So yeah, that's real soon. We've got a Mario Party and a Metroid in the same month. Can you believe it?
It's crazy. Mario Golf Super Rush out this week.
I guess just a like, hey, remember this thing's still coming out.
I told you that. I think in our predictions episode, you're like, they won't show Mario Golf. I was like, no, they will. It's Nintendo. Of course they're gonna be like, hey, this game is out. Like, in 2 weeks, we're going to take up some of our 40 minutes to just remind you. It's like, come on.
Listen, they showed this and nothing for Animal Crossing, and that's what shocked me the most.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I think the Animal Crossing, so I'm part of the Animal Crossing subreddit. I think people are visibly upset that
they were super not happy. Yeah.
I'm like, listen, you guys got a lot of content for the year. And like, I'm not saying don't make content for Animal Crossing, but I'm like, damn.
I'm pretty sure Nintendo has stuff in the works. Though,
yeah,
like, that game sold like 30-something million.
I have to believe they're working on like a significant update, not just like, hey, here's 5 items.
Here's Bunny Day again.
Yeah. I really think that they might be doing something big where it's like, here's some cool new mechanic, or like we're introducing multiple islands or something like
lightsabers.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Fight your villager foes with lightsabers.
You can fight blathers in the museum.
Yeah. Let them know who has the high ground.
Oh, wow. Next up we had you and I on the same article. How funny is that? Because I don't think you shared your article. Monster Hunter Stories 2: Wings of Ruin. So,
yes.
I am now a Monster Hunter advocate, having put a lot of time into Monster Hunter Rise, but I do not know what Monster Hunter Stories 2 is, but I'd probably play it because I'm sure I will enjoy it.
It's more of a
turn-based stuff.
It's more of a RPG, more story-based.
Yeah.
Than
because the story in Rise was just chef's kiss that good, you know.
Just go hunt monsters, protect city. Credits.
Big monster must prepare credits. Okay, cool. Here's DLC, more credits. Okay.
I do appreciate the style of this game, and in a way appreciate that they call the monsters monsties, which is really cute and nonsense.
It makes me angry that they call it monsties. I'm like, I'm not a 4-year-old, okay? I'm an adult.
The Rathalos is a monstie. Just get over it.
I'm an adult and I will ride my monster Rathalos. Can you imagine? I have a conversation with like my brother or my mom. Like, yeah, I'm playing this game called Monster Hunter and you collect monsties. My mom would be like,
Pokemonsties.
What happened? You should be like, oh, you're so cute.
It's like pinch your
Can't
cheek.
do it.
type
Pinch
of
your cheek.
cute.
You're still my little boy. I'm like, I know.
Little monsties. They hide under my bed. They scare me at night.
No, I hate it so much. Yes, that is coming out July 9th.
So Monstie Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin is coming on June 25th.
So the game's out July, and then the demo's out June 25th, which is it's quite cool that the progression in the demo will carry over to your main game. So
I like that. That's
I
really
imagine
cool.
it's like the first chapter or something. Yeah. This I'm very excited for. WarioWare, Get It Together. Have you played a WarioWare game?
I've played on 3DS, and
and how much fun did you have on 3DS?
It's about time that that we got a WarioWare on Switch.
Yeah,
it's about damn time.
It's such a weird game to tell people about because it's just mini games.
Yeah, but it's the most such rapid fire mini games.
Yeah,
it's
they're
crazy.
The most ludicrous and weird mini games, and the fact that you can do that with a friend now.
I think I saw one of them where it's like squeezing toothpaste out of a tube. Was one of the mini games,
perfect.
Like when you say ridiculous, they are real ridiculous, but it's so rapid fire. Like if you've ever watched someone do a let's play of this, it's crazy.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I do love the name Get It Together, which is
Get It Together.
Really funny.
Shin Megami Tensei 5, which is this is the Persona peeps, right? It's the same.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily the same studio, but it's the same. It's Atlas, isn't it?
Yes. Well, Persona is a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei.
Oh, sorry. Okay, that's where I got.
So this is the core arm of the franchise, and that's why the combat is nearly identical. You know, the creatures you use in battle are the same as what you'd see in Persona. It's just a very different vibe of a story. It looks more serious and modern
super
day.
Dark, holy hell.
Yeah, it looks fun. I've heard from Michael Hyam, who is like the Persona champion at GameSpot, that if you've played a Persona, you need to play a Shin Megami Tensei. So maybe this will be the first one I played. Looks good. Looks fun.
I think also the biggest win for me is that it's on Switch.
Yeah.
Games like this. So I'm pretty sure I'd love Persona, but again, I just can't see myself sitting down for 100-hour game at my desk, which I know it sounds ridiculous because I play a whole lot of other games for that amount of time. Cool. But the fact that this is on Switch means I can chip away that 100 hours a lot quicker than I would, otherwise.
It's real bizarre that the Shin Megami Tensei has mostly existed on Nintendo platforms and then Persona's on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really weird. I mean, you see, so those creatures, those are identical to what you'd find in Persona. You don't normally see them like this in the wild. You normally see them as shadows and then they manifest into creatures. But this combat, I mean, you see every enemy has a weakness, a sort of elemental weakness. This is how Persona works, and I'm sure it got it from Persona, Shin Megami Tensei.
Oh, sorry, the other way around, yeah.
Yeah. So and then talking to monsters and getting them as allies and stuff like that. That was actually something that wasn't in Persona 4, but they brought it back in Persona 5. So yeah,
cool,
it's very cool. Very
keen to see how that turns out.
Then we got Danganronpa Decadence, which is I can't tell. No, you're scrolling up now.
Sorry, my bad. No, my PC is dying. I'm like, did I leave YouTube videos playing?
Oh, okay, I see. It's the first 3 editions of the game. If you're not entirely sure what Danganronpa is, it is like a visual novel murder mystery type thing where a murderous teddy bear has put you in a game of life and death. Not even joking. I think
Saw.
The bear is called Momokumo or something like that. Yeah, it kind of is like Saw.
The bear is called Jigsaw. I mean, not Jigsaw.
Not Jigsaw, yes. Yeah, I've never played one of these, but I know a lot of people love them. So I'm, I don't know if I own them on PC, so I might just play them there eventually. But it's cool that they're coming to Switch.
Yeah.
For the exact reasons, like you said, Shin Megami Tensei, it's much better to have it in bed. So yeah. Fatal Frame, I think we talked about this earlier. Horror game.
Did
Come
we?
to Switch.
It's a horror game. Is this a remake of? Yeah, it's a Wii U title.
Oh. You take
Yeah.
photos of ghosts. No, thank you.
Nice. Yeah, I watch. It's actually quite weird that Nintendo very like. Look, I know Nintendo have sort of. They're still the family friendly, like, lovable console with, there are some violent games on it, but I find it so weird that you have this very upbeat direct with, okay, Metroid Dread's not very upbeat, but then you get like the surprise horror game, like, whoa. If I had kids watching, like, look away. Don't watch.
Yeah,
this
look away
game.
now, please.
Don't watch. Mario Rabbids.
I think we spoke about this because it was revealed
shown
during the
at Ubisoft. Yeah.
Game looks good. Still looks really pretty. Really, really good. This was a big surprise, and I know Darren is super keen on this. Yeah, a remake of Advance Wars 1 and 2.
Which were big hits on the DS, yeah.
I've never played Advance Wars. Have you
Nor
played? I mean, I know it's like your turn-based stuff, so stuff like Metal Gear Tactics and Into the Breach.
Yeah, Into the Breach, yeah.
Similar to this, so yeah, it looks good. I mean, I think the art style looks really fun. I think love the cartoony 3D art style.
Yeah.
So that's coming December 3rd. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity DLC, which I think the first wave is just released. So you can play that soon. Right now. Skyward Sword HD.
Which is coming.
That's still coming in
July.
Yeah, July. So it was just kind of like a reminder, hey, this thing's coming out. I've never played Skyward Sword, so I'm kind of keen to give it a go.
Also, canonically, the first Zelda game, which is pretty cool. You see the making of the Master Sword, why Zelda becomes, why she becomes so important, I guess. So that's quite cool. And then, can I just say, Nintendo like really trolled the audience, because you see the Breath of the Wild director pop up on screen like, oh my god, finally, yay, Breath of the Wild 2. It's like, cool. Here's some Age of Calamity DLC. Like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. And what's he going to show next? Oh, Skyward Sword HD. Okay, cool. What's he going to show next? Oh, Legend of Zelda Game & Watch. Okay.
And he trolled hard because he's like, this is the final campaign we have planned for the Zelda anniversary this year. So I was like, okay, Wind Waker, here we go. And I was like,
yeah.
Good. So Legend of Zelda is getting its own Game & Watch.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Actually. Yeah.
So not to take away from that, but when you're expecting Breath of the Wild 2 and they show this, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, stop it. Get the good stuff.
This is similar to the Mario Game & Watch that came out, when was it? Last year or the year before? I think it was last.
I
know it was last year for the anniversary as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So this will have Zelda.
It's the first. Yeah, 1, 2, and then
Zelda
the Game Boy
2.
Zelda.
Yeah.
The Game Boy version of Link's Awakening, which we played the remake of like a year or two ago.
Last year, yeah. So that's pretty cool to play the original on there. And then you'll have a, classic Game & Watch game Vermin, just with Link as the playable character. So yeah, I think this thing's like $50 or $60, and it's coming out later this year, so that's cool. It's a cool collector's item.
And then finally, Breath of the Wild 2,
or whatever the hell it gets called.
Let me just get this beautiful trailer playing.
So apparently the title is being kept secret because it will reveal a lot about the structure of the game.
Yeah.
But man, there's a lot happening in this trailer. Like, I'm not going to go through all the fan theories, but I've been reading a lot about
There's a lot of fan theories, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like Link's arm gets all fucked up, which is kind of why this other character in here looks kind of messed up and looks very different from Link. There's theories that this actually isn't Link, that this is Ganondorf. Yeah. It's a prequel. Okay. Because it makes sense. God. Like, this character looks so fundamentally different to... You see, that looks like traditional Link there, that blue tunic. So I can understand if this is a different... this is like a 2 protagonist game or something. So I don't know. There's some time shenanigans. There's like reversal of time.
But I think that's maybe... So like, I still think... I completely understand why people think this is maybe a different character. But it makes me think that, look at his arm. It is also like messed up. Maybe it is just Link in a different time period. Like, I don't know. We'll see, I guess.
And
I mean,
there
it'll
definitely seems to be like a distinct difference between these areas in the sky and then Link on the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, sorry, audio listeners, this is, we mistreating you.
It's
Because you can't
gorgeous.
see,
It looks real good.
Holy hell, look at that.
I mean, people are like, oh, it looks the same as Breath of the Wild. I'm like,
are
no,
you kidding me?
Are you? No. It's
and
got the same art style. Of course it does.
Yeah,
but it is fundamentally
even if it did
improved.
look the same as Breath of the Wild is beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I rewatched this trailer like 2 or 3 times. I missed this the first time. This is a Link using like a little, not that. Look, it's a little flamethrower arm piece happening over here, which is pretty cool.
A lot of people think that messing up of his arm has given him like almost like a multi-tool on his arm. I still don't think that's Link though. Like,
I don't know.
That other character just looks. The fact that they don't, they make a point of not showing the face, and
for sure.
the hairstyle is so different and stuff. Like something's up, and I expect it to be surprises. So the big surprise is that it's not coming out this year.
Yeah, which. Look, I'll wait. It's cool.
They say aiming 2022. Doesn't mean it's coming out 2022.
I think this game's going to be big. Obviously.
I think this is going to be a big game.
But I did see the one thing I liked. So for those of you who don't know, when Metal Gear Solid 2 came out, all those years ago, all the marketing was like, this is Snake and you're playing on this oil rig, whatever. That turned out when the game launched, that was like the first 2 hours of the game. And then story bits happen, and then you play as a completely different character, which confused the shit out of people because no one knew that. So I thought it was quite cool that people saying they 100% putting a Metal Gear Solid 2 where you maybe start as Link and you think like, cool, it's Breath of the Wild 2, and then like there's a complete pivot and you play as someone else.
Yeah.
But I do think with the name reveal, it'll obviously, I mean, the intention doing it will give, an indication of, it's Breath of the Wild 2, time traveling shenanigans, or
exactly.
Breath of the Wild 2, Ganondorf's origin, whatever it's called.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I think they're keeping it back intentionally till like obviously they'll have to reveal it closer to the time, but
yeah,
man. But I'm stoked.
The theories coming out of this are wild. But one thing I do think is pretty clear or intentional is the fact that I don't think it's an accident that Skyward Sword is getting an HD remake or version, because a lot of people saying like obviously Breath of the Wild 2 there's a lot more stuff happening up high in the sky. There might be some links between the two. No pun intended. So yeah, you'll see.
That was a good direct. I thought it was a really solid direct. And it was like 40 minutes of just like banger after banger.
With a minute of Mario Golf, which you could have used something else, Nintendo.
The thing that's cool is that there was actual surprises. Like no one expected Metroid Dread. No one thought of Advance Wars. Like seeing people freak out over announcements like that was really fun.
It was good, yeah. Cool. Okay, we've spent an abnormal amount of time on that, so we're going to fly through the rest of our news. Although, like, very after E3, relatively quiet news week, but let's start with, I guess this is also out of E3, Hellblade 2. If you're excited for this game, let me tell you, you're going to have to keep waiting.
Because this game far away.
This game is far away.
Didn't realize it. So there was another Xbox sort of like a deep dive conference on Thursday.
Yeah.
Which kind of like delved into games that they showed during their showcase and some that were omitted. And one of those was Hellblade 2. And Ninja Theory, the developers there were basically saying that they are transitioning into full production soon, which means the game, it's not in full production yet, which is so. I mean, I don't bemoan Ninja Theory for that. I'm more just like confused as to why the game was shown off so early. Well, not confused. I'm pretty sure Microsoft was like, we need to show something. And Ninja Theory is like
that it was revealed like, was it a year?
It was revealed last year. Yeah. No,
And it's like,
or was it?
I think it might have been the year before that.
It
I
might have
could be
been.
wrong.
Yeah, I think it was E3 the year before. They were like, "We're working on this for next generation
And
hardware."
it's like, wow, okay.
Yeah,
So we're looking at
I mean,
what, like 2023?
it was like the first game revealed to be using Unreal Engine 5. Yeah, I mean, I think this game's 2023. If at its earliest, there's no way this is only going into full production now and is out next year. Maybe, but I don't think so. I think this is, I think this is 2023.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's coming.
But yeah, I think it's cool that they gave an update on it. Like setting the record straight is always good.
100%. I mean, Breath of the Wild 2, for example, they upfront like we're working on this, and like you mentioned, aiming for 2022. So,
yes. Yeah.
Just be prepared for any potential delays. What next? Final Fantasy VII Remake could be coming to PC, according to Epic Game Store listing, which is cool. It's out on PS5 now with that good next-gen upgrade, so it would make sense to see it on PC. Are PS fans upset about this?
Of course,
as a matter of it. But like, did we not know that it was a...
Of course we did.
I can't deal with fans sometimes. Well, my phone's ringing via my PC. Why you like this WhatsApp? I'm so confused. Hang on, let me just close that.
Technology.
Has that ever happened to you where you've got your WhatsApp rings in the PC? I'm like, why?
It often happens because my work laptop is a MacBook, so my phone will ring and then my laptop will ring. I'm like, what is going on?
I got a new iPad just after my birthday, and now my iPad rings. I'm like, I need to disable that, and I keep forgetting.
It's so annoying.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I mean, we all knew that Final Fantasy VII Remake was a timed exclusive, and there's been indications for ages now that it was going to come to PC.
Yeah.
So this is not at all surprising. It seems like it's a database entry, so could be coming later this year, could be coming next year. Who the hell knows? Along with that, there was a database entry also for something called Alan Wake Remastered. I'd play that.
Interesting. I'd play that
Alan
as
Wake.
well.
Alan Wake, good game.
It's a good game. Really, really good game.
It is old, so it could use a visual sprucing up.
Oh yeah, sorry, this is an article. Yeah. Alan Wake Remastered.
I'd play that, yeah. So that's cool.
Okay.
I mean, with Intergrade out now, I assume the PC version will
have all of it
similar to that. So yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Back 4 Blood, really cool looking new game from the creators of Left 4 Dead.
Pew pew.
Needs a constant internet connection, which
I'm not super shocked by this at all. Like the game is definitely it's meant to be played with other people, and you can play it solo with AI. But the fact that it needs to be online all the time, like I'm not at all shocked by that. And to be honest, there's like so many other games that are, this isn't a quote unquote live service game in the traditional sense, but it's borderline that anyway. So I'm not shocked by that. It is a game that's meant to be played with other people as well, whether you're matchmaking or playing, in a party. So it's fun.
Also on Game Pass, I will be playing it if it's on the
Hells
PC version.
yeah. I'm super keen to. I am so keen to play this. Like, I'm super into it.
And then last story for this week, Battlefield 4 server capacity increased to deal with players. Oh my god, wow.
I think this is quite funny. Yeah.
Increased to deal with players hype for Battlefield 2042.
Yeah, so people are so keen on 2042 that they've jumped into Battlefield 4 to get because that was the last modern
little taste, yeah.
Well, there was what was the Cops and Robbers one?
The Battlefield heist. No, I don't remember.
I actually genuinely don't remember.
Battlefield Underground.
Hardline.
Battlefield Underground, Hot Pursuit. Yeah, that was it.
You see, no one wants to play that one, so they've just gone back to 4 again.
4 was a good time, let me tell you.
4 was good.
What's interesting is that when 4 came out, obviously it was like, I'm sure today it still looks really good, but in 2013, you needed a pretty good PC to run that game.
4 was one of the first games I played on PS4.
Wow.
Because it was one of those like cross-gen games at the time.
Yeah. 8 years later, let me tell you, a lot of people on PC are rocking better PCs. So revisiting it and going, wow, putting everything on full.
Putting that thing on full and high frame rates. Yeah. Always a good time. Yeah. I mean, funny enough, it is a free game on Twitch, the Twitch Prime thing. So you can get a code for it if you are, subscribed to a Twitch
Prime,
channel.
I guess.
Prime, so you can grab it for free if you've been looking for a reason to revisit. I actually might just do that and just load it up on PC and see what it looks like.
Just to see how pretty it is. It's a good time. I've got many fond memories of Battlefield 3 and 4 and the shenanigans that followed. But yeah, I think that is, apart from, sorry, I know we spent a long time on Nintendo's presentation, but news usually hits like a bit of a slump now, and then, oh wait, no, I lie. Sorry, it has been a bit quiet this week, but yeah, news does pick up again after the E3 hype. So that's it. That's news.
That's it, boys and girls. Should we get
out of
to
here.
questions?
Yes.
If you want to send us a question, you can email us, checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also message us on all our social platforms, at Checkpoint Chat, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, TikTok, obviously.
Message us on TikTok. It's a good time. We have 2 questions on Twitter from Megs. Oh my God.
We also have 2 emails.
Yeah, I know.
Don't we also have questions from the last episode?
We do. We've got some.
See, I'm looking out for you. Looking out for everyone who sends
little
in the
dragon questions. So let's
just
start
making
with
sure that Matty doesn't forget,
I'm not just shooting people and just forgetting about that. Okay, so we have 2 from Malaysian email. It says, "Hey guys, how are you doing? Hope you had a great E3. What an interesting week. Game Pass is fucking bringing it. It literally felt like Christmas. I don't think I'll be buying a game for a long time. That's a lie. I bought something yesterday." My question for today, do you think that Sony missed out by not pitching up for E3? Up till now, the narrative has been that E3 is dead and you can give a digital stream whenever. Last time Sony missed it, Microsoft had the floor and didn't quite deliver. This year, both Microsoft and Nintendo got everyone talking. I'm finally seeing people saying that they'll skip on a PS5 for Series X. But let's face it, scalpers may have a lot to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Sony has a strong lineup and they know how to do it direct.
I definitely think Microsoft capitalized on Sony not being there for the first time. Because I 100%. Think in 2019 they were faced with the same thing and they really didn't capitalize. And last year there was no E3 and both companies just did their next gen console streams and Sony killed it there. So I think it's a double-edged sword. I think if Sony was there and showed off these amazing games, you would have the arguments of, well, those games are great, but Microsoft had a whole conference where everything is under the Game Pass banner. So it might have just actually highlighted that even more.
I know.
To be like, Sony's like, yeah, check out all these games, but they're $70 each, So I don't know, actually. I do think Microsoft had a really strong conference.
They really did.
Yeah, and, I think, I'm not going to go over everything again, but
you must.
Whether or not it was third-party games and not, a lot of their first-party games, the point was that I think every game at that conference, bar like 2 or 3 of them, is included in Game Pass, that was the message.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that Stalker 2 is coming to PlayStation as well. It matters that Stalker 2 is on Game Pass. And that goes for every other cross or multi-platform game that was at the conference. It's like, do you want to spend X number of dollars on this because you chose PlayStation, or do you want to get it as part of Game Pass because you chose Xbox? So
yeah.
And I think Sony, whether they had a conference or not, could not combat that message. So
it's almost
maybe
a good thing they weren't there then.
Yeah, maybe not getting involved in that fight at the same time is actually, I don't think that's why they didn't go to to E3. I think
they knew
Sony hasn't
Xbox was
been
gonna put everything on Game Pass.
No, Sony hasn't been at E3 since 2019, so I think this is just their MO now. And I think they will just host a state of play when they have stuff to show. I mean, they hosted one earlier this month for Horizon, and that dominated conversation at the time. So yeah, we'll see. But I do think that Microsoft having this stage for themselves actually used it properly this year. So,
but like for the first time in
ever,
because even when in our, I feel like every prediction episode we've ever done on the show, it's always been like, man, Microsoft are so primed. They really, they just got to knock it out the park now, and they never did really until this year. It was like, damn, that was a hell of a showcase. Even though, look, like in terms of exclusives, like they're definitely ramping up because they've got Bethesda now and they've got some projects in the works. But like that aside, the Game Pass thing is a huge deal. Like, it really is. When you walk away from that conference, you go, I can literally pay $10 a month and play all of that. It's insane.
It's like seeing that in combination with a lot of their bets starting to pay off. Like, you had Starfield, and yes, Starfield's only coming out end of 2022. But it's like they made a big deal of this is an Xbox exclusive and it's on Game Pass. And the same thing with Arcane's Redfall. I've seen people saying that Arcane could be to Microsoft what Insomniac has been to Sony, and I definitely think that's true.
100%,
an underrated developer that now with the correct funding can really just shine to something like Insomniac has become a premier game developer, after Spider-Man and now Ratchet. Ratchet and Clank was never this system selling franchise on PlayStation 2 and 3. So yeah, I think those bets are starting to pay off, but the big message this year was Game Pass, and I don't think Sony can combat that at the moment. So them being there or not didn't make a difference. It was more that, like you said, Xbox actually drove that message home in a good way this time, as opposed to previous years.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good.
Okay. Next question. By the time I hear your response, I would have had to make this decision. I picked up The Outer Wilds recently, played a few hours and was enjoying it, but something else grabbed my attention, Yakuza Judgment. And I'm nicely immersed in that, so would rather finish it first. But then, disaster struck, The Outer Wilds is leaving Game Pass on the 1st of July. Would you, A, prioritize The Outer Wilds and try and finish it with a deadline of 10 days? B, enjoy what you're playing, no deadline, and just buy The Outer Wilds? Like how PS Nancy uses... No, because he wrote Worlds.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Outer Wilds, like how PS Nancy users do. Hashtag TMGLTLT?
No idea.
I have no idea what that means.
Send us a new email explaining that hashtag.
It's like, thanks, Maddie. Get the last truffle. Cool.
Ooh. Chocolate truffle? Or
got it.
Actual truffle?
I don't know. An actual truffle. So what would you do? Prioritize The Outer Wilds or buy it?
Here's a midway point. Buy it while it's still on Game Pass, because then you get a discount.
You get the discounts, yeah. That's cool.
And buy it because The Outer Wilds, like you said, is a fucking phenomenal game. Like, one of the best games from 2019. Just so good. So damn good. And it's not a game you want to rush through. So I think you've made the correct call. Like, if you're into Judgment, like, don't just switch over to Outer Wilds and like blitz through it because you feel like you have to. Like, you will not savor it then.
What is the playtime more or less on Outer Wilds, just for interest's sake?
Can be like 20 hours.
Oh my.
No, it's not short. Yeah, it's not short. Yeah. And it's not short because you're taking in things very slowly. So yeah, rushing through that does that game a disservice. It would also just frustrate you because the puzzles are meant to come to you like naturally over time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think buy it now with the discount because it's a game that is timeless. Like, if you're not feeling it now, you can come back to it at any time. I think forcing yourself through that is the wrong way to do it. So, and Judgment is also a really long game, so you might be craving something shorter afterwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think. Well, let us know what you've done because you said you would have made this decision by now already. I'm curious.
Explain the hashtag and let us know what you did.
Otherwise, we'll always champion that game. Super good. So good.
Okay. We have 2 questions on Twitter from Megs, who number 1 asks, how do you guys consume medication? Pills, tablets, or capsules? I prefer to break it all down in my mouth before consuming since it will enter my body faster.
Wait, what?
Most people swallow it whole. So
wait.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that Megs bites into the pill, which...
no. So he does it like they do in the movies, and I've never understood how someone does that.
Does that actually mean it enters your body faster?
It does, yes, because it's like it doesn't need to be dissolved, essentially. It's a powder already, so it's much, much quicker.
But I mean, surely it hits your tummy acid and it dissolves relatively quickly?
No, it still needs to. I mean, the tablet still needs to dissolve. It is faster. It's like putting a drip straight into your bloodstream. So it's...
Okay, but if you're trying to ingest a pill quickly, why don't you just do it annually? Like snorting cocaine. That's
that's exactly the comparison. It's like
exactly.
But it's like the difference between like smoking or
rectally. That's
doing an edible. Like an edible is way slower because it needs to dissolve and whatever.
Can't.
But I mean, you watch any action movie, like watch a Die Hard, and you see like John McClane just put a fistful of fucking painkillers in his mouth and chew, and I'm like, who does that? Why? Those things are so bitter. It's horrible. No, I'd end up just vomiting. Like God no.
I swallow my pills whole, if I'm being honest.
I do it sometimes. I do this thing, and I sometimes catch myself out where I just gather up a lot of spit in my mouth and then use that as the liquid to get the pill down. Because I'm too lazy to get a glass of water.
And the next question, do you guys customize your phone ringtones for friends, family, work, or are you like the Samsung crowd that love the Jurassic Park theme tune?
Yeah, I know what he means because it does sound like that. I had a guy who sat near me when I worked at Discovery who had a Samsung, and I always thought that he had changed his ringtone to that. It's like this very classical ring. It's like it sounds almost like a ringtone to like Days of Our Lives. So I was just like, oh, okay, he's just changed it to that. Then I didn't realize that that's the default Samsung tone. It's awful. It's terrible.
My goodness.
But I'm on iPhone, so I haven't changed my ringtone. I also don't remember the last time my phone was on loud mode. So
likewise, my phone's permanently on silent.
Yeah, it's vibrations only, man.
Yeah.
And especially with an Apple Watch, it doesn't actually make a difference because if my phone rings, it rings on my wrist. So I'm always aware that my phone is ringing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think for me, the flip happened when I was studying at varsity a few years ago. And I remember my phone was just this huge distraction. Like every time it beeped anything out, I'd be like, ooh, like who messaged me? And I made a conscious effort to put it on silence, put it away. And I've just never gone back. It's nice not having to, look at my phone every time it beeps. I'll pick it up and go, I've got messages, and I reply. Never rings.
I mean, to be fair, even though mine's on silent, I'm still very aware of when I'm getting messages.
No, you've got your watch and stuff. No, but like my phone doesn't ring. Like if it's not within earshot, I'll just phone the person back.
That is surprising though, because whenever I WhatsApp you, you're pretty quick to reply. So
no, because I check my phone pretty regularly, but I don't like look at it when it beeps or.
Do you use like the WhatsApp web thing while you're working?
Oh yeah, no, that's if you message me during the day like that, I get the little pop up and there's no sound still, but it has a little one. I'm like, damn it, get out of here, that one. And then we had 2 questions on. It was 1 or 2 questions on Instagram stories last week, and I did take a screenshot, and I cannot find them, but I do know that they were from Keegan, and one of them was. He started Hollow Out. Silk Song
Fantastic.
When? Question mark.
Oh God. I held out hope that there was maybe a surprise during the direct, but look at me, real clown. Yeah. Might as well just put on my makeup.
I love that we have a group and one of our pictures is just the bug, the Hollow Knight,
Hollow Knight
wearing
on a
like
bench.
wearing a clown wig.
It's for every fan out there who's hoping
he's a
for Silk
clown.
Song Noons, which is clowns
Yeah.
constantly.
My God. Yeah, and that is all the questions.
If you want to send us questions and let us know how you take painkillers as well, you can also email us checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also message us on Twitter and Facebook and TikTok and everywhere at Checkpoint Chat. Message us anytime. You don't need to wait for that questions post. And it can be about anything, as you can tell from the batch we got this week. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's been episode 148 of Checkpoint Chat.
It's done. Done.
Thank you, as always, for listening. If you're hearing this, you listened this far. Thank you. We appreciate you. Let us know what you're playing. Let us know what's piquing your interest. If you're keen on Mario Golf, I'm so stoked. By this time next week, we would have played some Mario Golf.
I'm gonna beat you with Luigi. Can't wait.
You wish, man. You haven't seen my golf skills.
Luigi.
You haven't seen my golf skills.
I can't wait.
I'm gonna take you down. I'm so keen for that speed golf mode. I think that looks like,
oh my God,
like a combination of Mario Kart and golf. It looks ridiculous, and I love it.
It's a good time. And yeah, that's 148.
That's 148. As always, we'll see you next week for our regular recording. And have a good week. See you soon.
Goodbye.
Bye.